Yeah. Smiley went 6, only 4 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. What a debut for Drew Smiley. 96 pitches thrown, 62 were for strikes. And so now I ask you, is this the newness of Drew Smiley? Is this the fact that the Pirates can't hit that well? Or will he return to the Drew Smiley we've come to know and not appreciate in 2019? I tell you this, if Smiley can pitch for the Phillies, first of all, what does Smiley bring to that rotation if he's good? And a couple of years ago, he was really good. He's a lefty. It's been like World War II since the Phillies had a left-handed pitcher. I'm exaggerating. But the Phillies don't have left-handed starters. So they go out and add Smiley, and he absolutely pitches a gem yesterday against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. The Mets are 14 out. They lost to the Giants again. I think the Mets are done. I think they're trading. I think they're trading pitchers. Notice I said pitchers with an S on the end. Does DeGrom leave? Does Wheeler leave? Does Syndergaard leave? We've got 9 days to find out, and you can talk about it. We can talk about it on here all we want to. But if you are the Mets and you can trade 2 or 3 or 1 of those guys, you do it. Wheeler's supposed to pitch this week. I think he's scheduled to pitch this coming weekend off of the IL. The report was and is he had a sore shoulder, a fatigued shoulder. That's the way I read it. So he's been throwing. He's done bullpens. They're expecting him back. You look out here. If Wheeler has a good outing this weekend, he's gone. He's gone. Where? Well, there are a lot of teams that would love to have him. There's a team across town in the Bronx that is openly looking for a starting pitcher. What about Boston? They could use one. What about Minnesota? They could use a few. Houston's probably looking for someone. The A's are looking for someone. I doubt the Mets would trade in division, but they could, and the Braves could use a ace in waiting. There's not a team in the National League Central that's in contention that doesn't want a pitcher, especially Milwaukee. The Dodgers, no, they don't need a starting pitcher. We'll talk about them in a moment. The Central, it basically remains the same. The Cubs are 54-45. They're 9 games above 500. They lost yesterday to San Diego 5-1. The Cubs, their pitching has been really good lately. I'm going to talk about one of their players when I get into my Let's Go Get 'em segment. But the Padres, Tatis Jr. Okay. You know, you start to think Tatis Jr. is going to... Good morning, Phil Chappie. Off work today. Sorry I'm late. I'm just guessing, Chappie, that... Oh, here goes Chappie. My wife had me doing things around the house, and Chappie, you're my hero. Or the true story might be, I slept late and I just woke up. Okay, here you go. But the Cubs and the Padres. Tatis, first of all. I'll get to the Cubs in a moment. Tatis Jr., 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. About the time I think he's going to cool off, he heats it back up. This kid is a player. If you're in a dynasty league, congratulations. If you're in season long, have you thought about trading him? And some might say do it. Here's the thing. He's more than one-dimensional. He's not just a singles guy. He's not a doubles guy. He's an every kind of guy. And he can run. And he leads off. And I'm not trading him. And if he hadn't have been hurt for a month, notice Pete Alonso of late and his below 200 average over the last week. And the Mets are out of it. if Tatis doesn't get hurt for a month, and that's an if a frog had wings, right? But if he doesn't get hurt for a month, he's Rookie of the Year. He plays, other than catcher and pitcher, the most demanding position, shortstop. He's 25-25 looking to happen. He's over a 300 hitter. And don't you just know, the Padres are thinking about 2020 already. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mejia caught yesterday. He went 2 for 3. He hit his 4th homer of the year in the 7th inning off of Kyle Hendricks. It was a solo shot. Rookie Moran started yesterday, only went 2 1/3. Quantrill coming out of the bullpen, came in the 3rd, pitched through the 8th inning. The Cubs only got 2 hits off of him, no walks, and Quantrill struck out 6 to pick up the win. Yates came on in the 9th. It was not a save situation because the Cubs could only muster 1 run, and that was in the 1st inning when Baez crossed the plate. After that, no runs, only 6 hits on the game. San Diego stymied the offense. Rizzo did have 2 hits, but only 5 players had hits. Schwarber, Baez, Bryant, and Hendricks all all had 1 hit. Bryant, his hit was a double. The rest were singles. The only extra base hit yesterday for the Cubs was Bryant's double. Hendricks went 7. He deserved a better fate. He only gave up 2 earned runs, struck out 5, only 4 hits allowed. The Cubs, though, they remain in first now only by 2 games. The Brewers won the last 2 in Arizona yesterday. They beat the Diamondbacks 7-4. Peralta was the winner. He's now 4-3. Lopez the loser. Moustakas' go-ahead single in the 8th was the difference. Moustakas did go 2 for 5 yesterday, and what a year he's having. I mean, how many of you drafted Mike Moustakas? I did. And how pleased are you on a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being I'm absolutely out of my mind excited about what Mike Moustakas has done this year? I'm in that group. Give him a 10. He's got 26 home runs, 60 RBIs, a 269 average, 3 stolen bases just for good measure. While in Arizona playing a 4-game set, 16 at-bats, 5 hits. So he hit .316 over the 4 games with a homer and 5 RBIs this weekend and 3 runs scored. He's hitting lefties, and he's playing in Miller Park for the Brewers, who score a lot of runs. Yeah, Lou says first it was Paddock, then it was Allen, now it's Quantrill. And the Padres, going back to the Cubs, they just seem, the Padres, to pull these pitchers out of nowhere. And they excel. Milwaukee, 2 games out, beating Arizona. St. Louis, 2.5 games out. They took it out on the Reds again yesterday. The Reds have lost 7 out of 10. They're 9 games out of the division now. St. Louis hanging on. They play at Pittsburgh tonight. The Cubs are in San Francisco. Milwaukee's at home with the Reds. That should be a slugfest. What do you think? I think. In that St. Louis game, winning 3-1, Gallegos was the winner, DeSclafani the loser. Carmart, his 8th save, Munoz homers, had a 3-hit game. Lenny mentioned Munoz a few weeks ago. Okay, Chappie, if you're going to talk about Quantrill tomorrow night, I won't say any more than I did today. How's that with his 5 1/3, 2-hit, 6 strikeout, no walk game? A power arm out of that bullpen. So tune in to Chappie tomorrow night at 7 and hear more about Quantrill and a lot more. The man is prepared for his shows. No doubt about it. In the West, the Dodgers 67-35. After 102 games and winning 3 in a row, they have a 16-game lead over second place Arizona and San Francisco. How the West was won? Well, it was won by the Dodgers, pitching like crazy and hitting from everyone up and down that lineup. They beat the Marlins yesterday 9-0. Walker Buehler, 7 innings of shutout baseball. It was a masterpiece. Now, he's playing Miami, but Miami, not the poorest offense they were. He struck out 11 with no walks. Overall, the Dodgers struck out 14 Marlins out of the 27 outs. Oh, yeah, they did score 9 runs. Jock Peterson went 2 for 4. His 23rd homer in the third inning off Yamamoto. Muncy, his 26th homer in the first inning off of Yamamoto. Muncy went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. A.J. Pollock, come on. Are you kidding me? Since coming off of the IL, there's been no Dodger hitter hotter than A.J. Pollock. Yesterday, 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And let me just give you some numbers on Pollock over his last few games, okay? He was 2 for 4 on the 16th with a homer. Then he went 0 for 3. Didn't start on the 18th. On the 19th, 2 for 2. Yesterday, 3 for 4. When he came off the IL, he was hitting around 228. He's now at 267. I picked him up because a team had cut him. It was a great ad. Pollock's going to be playing probably 6 out of 7 games. He's going to get that occasional day off. Just what the Dodgers needed, right? Another bat in that lineup. And there's one coming on the way. So let me pause and ask this question now that we're about 30 minutes into the show. I posed this question yesterday. I want to pose it to the chat room. And I want to look at what you tell me. Okay? I'm going to give you some prospects who are on the cusp of a call-up. With the trade deadline coming, and the potential for veterans like an Abreu in Chicago to be traded, or a D. Gordon from Seattle to go to maybe the Cubs and play second base and lead off, there are going to be more players from the minor leagues to come up. So I want to give you a few. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me which of these will have impact this year, and in your opinion, which will be sooner than later. Here we go. Bo Bichette for Toronto. Gavin Lux for the Dodgers. Luis Robert for the Chicago White Sox. Diaz for Miami, the second baseman. And finally, Kyle Tucker for Houston. So let's just recap those 5. Bichette, Tucker, Robert, Lux, Diaz. I'll give you their teams one more time. Bichette with Toronto, Tucker with Houston, Robert with the White Sox, Lux with the Dodgers, Diaz with Miami. Here's what you do, chat room. Tell me of those 5. You may think all 5 are impactful this year. You may think none are impactful this year. If you think they're impactful, then rank them for me. And I'll be looking in the chat room. And Andrea's already on it. So, guys, you got to get on with it. Youngblood's typing, I see. See, I can tell when you guys are typing. Tucker is not up yet, as far as I know, unless he came up while I've been on the air. If he's up, let me know. Everyone I just gave you is in the minor leagues. And here we go one more time. Bichette, Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, Luis Robert, Gavin Lux, and Asian Diaz for Miami. Chappie says Bichette, Robert, Lux, and Tucker. Andrea says Tucker sucks. Tell me how you really feel, Andrea. I mean, you hold back way too much. Is that all I get? Tucker sucks? I mean, it could say at least Tucker sucks bad. I don't know. Love you, Andrea. You know that. Wild card, National League. Washington leads by a half a game. Milwaukee in the second wild card. St. Louis and Philly, a half a game, both teams out of the second wild card. Arizona and the Giants, 2.5 out of the second wild card. Colorado and San Diego, 5 games out. American League, Yankees 64 and 34.